This is the fourth time the committee has voted on Judge Jackson in some capacity, a reflection of her extraordinary legal career. It's the first time that the committee has had the opportunity to advance the nomination of a black woman to sit on the Supreme Court. This is an historic moment for the committee and for America. During her hearing, Judge Jackson told us about her upbringing as the daughter of parents who attended racially segregated schools. She marveled at how her youth, on the heels of the civil rights movement, differed so much from her own parents' experience. Hers is a uniquely American family story. How much hope and promise can be achieved in just one generation? I'm proud we can bear witness to it. In recent weeks, members of this committee have gone through Judge Jackson's nearly 600 judicial opinions, her detailed responses to many bipartisan questionnaires, 12,000 pages of disclosures related to her time on the U.S. Sentencing Commission, 70,000 pages of materials produced by the Obama Library in response to a bipartisan request. Last week, we held 4 days of hearings. Judge Jackson was questioned for a total of 24 hours by this committee. Throughout this process, Judge Jackson has answered thousands of questions posed to her by members of this committee. In the course of this comprehensive review, a few things are clear. For one, she has impeccable qualifications. We don't agree on much in the Senate, but not one senator on this committee has questioned that she is well qualified. She has nearly a decade of experience on the bench at both the trial and appellate levels, clerked at every level of the federal judiciary, including for Supreme Court Justice Breyer. She has worked in private practice, and she served as a member of the Bipartisan Sentencing Commission. Judge Jackson would be only the second trial court judge currently serving on the Supreme Court and the first public defender ever to serve on the court. These critical experiences bring a missing perspective to the court. It is truly unfortunate that some are trying to use them as reasons to vote against her. These baseless attacks are belied by the broad support for Judge Jackson's nomination from across the political spectrum. Law enforcement, former federal prosecutors, Republican-appointed judges, and even more have vouched for her intellect, her intelligence, her ability to build consensus, and her even-handedness. On the fourth day of hearing, the American Bar Association came before us. They went through a laborious search of her record. I want to commend the law schools, including the University of Illinois, that poured through every written word that the judge has issued in her time on the bench. I also want to commend Judge Ann Williams, a former Northern District Court judge in the state of Illinois, and then a Seventh Circuit judge as well, who headed up the ABA committee. I asked her and those who were with her from the American Bar Association a basic question. Who did you talk to? And they said they reached out to over 250 individuals, judges, prosecutors, defense lawyers, co-counsels in adversarial situations, and asked them all to tell off the record confidentially what they thought of this judge. I asked about the allegation that's been made repeatedly by a few in this committee that she's soft on crime. They said there was no evidence, none, when they spoke to the group of 250 individuals. The net result of it, the American Bar Association rated Judge Ketanji Brown Jackson unanimously well qualified to serve on the Supreme Court. We've seen the evidence of her even-handedness ourselves. In her time on the bench, she has ruled for and against law enforcement, for and against immigration enforcement, for Republican administrations and also for Democratic administrations, for and against labor groups. At her hearing, she detailed the methodology she applies to ensure that she comes to each case with an independent mind. Frankly, I found her explanation far more insightful than if she had invoked contemporary labels to describe her judicial philosophy. Her methodology is one that promotes fairness, independence, and judicial restraint. It's reflected in her decision-making. In short, Judge Jackson showed us that she's committed to equal justice under the law and ensuring the Constitution works for all Americans, not just the wealthy and powerful. I was also impressed with her judicial temperament. On the whole, my Republican colleagues, starting with my ranking member, Senator Grassley, treated the nominee with dignity and respect. They promised not to turn this confirmation process into a, quote, circus, and most kept that promise. Some, however, did not. Instead, they repeatedly interrupt and badgered Judge Jackson and accused her of vile things in front of her parents, her husband, and her children. There was table pounding, some literal, from a few of my colleagues. They repeated discredited claims about Judge Jackson's record. They impugned her motives and questioned her candor. One all but called her a liar. They even suggested that Judge Jackson, a mother to two wonderful daughters, quote, endangers children. Judge Jackson is a better person than me. She stayed calm and collected. She showed dignity, grace, and poise. It is unfortunate that some moments in our hearing came to that. But if there is one positive to take away from these attacks on her, it is that the nation saw the temperament of a good, strong person ready to serve on the highest court of the land. President Biden assured the American public he would select a nominee who is, quote, worthy of Justice Breyer's legacy of excellence and decency, someone extremely well qualified, with a brilliant legal mind, with the utmost character and integrity. Judge Jackson herself characterized Justice Breyer's legacy as one of, quote, the highest level, and that's what we saw in this room last week. Rather than simply another Justice Breyer, she will be the one and only Justice Ketanji Brown Jackson. And Justice Jackson will bring to the Supreme Court the highest level of skill, integrity, civility, and grace. Throughout its history, this Senate Judiciary Committee has been the venue for some of our nation's most significant issues, debates, and nominees. I've often thought that if you had to choose one place to stand and witness the march of America, the noble and ignoble struggles of our democracy, I would seek out a chair in this room. Today's vote is such a moment. This committee's action today is nothing less than making history. I'm honored to be part of it. I will strongly and proudly support Judge Jackson's nomination.
Thanks for watching, and if you haven't already, please consider subscribing to our channel. And while you're at it, please leave us a comment. Thank you for watching.